A Lexington woman answers a knock at her door only to be attacked by a stranger. Police say her sister gave her 14-month-old son alcohol. Now the mother's speaking out about the allegations.
We continue to deal with beautiful spring temperatures across the Bluegrass State, but I'm tracking thunderstorms trying to crash our spring party. That's just ahead.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4:30.
Good afternoon. Sam Dick and Jennifer Palumbo reporting. We're learning some new details about a bizarre attack inside a Lexington home.
31-year-old Ashley Size went in front of a judge this afternoon. She's charged with burglary. Police say she barged into a stranger's home on Harrogate Road and strangled the woman with a bra. WKYT's Mark Barber has reaction from the victim in our top story at 4:30.
Ashley Size is charged with first-degree burglary, but this is anything but a typical burglary case. Police say the 31-year-old tried to strangle a stranger with a bra.
I thought I was going to die that night. I really did.
Patricia Lease survived the bizarre attack, but the 61-year-old says it will take a long time to recover. Her face is bruised and scratched, her arms are scraped, and she is missing patches of hair.
It happened about 12:30 the other night. Somebody come to my door, was banging and screaming and hollering.
Lee says she opened her door because she thought it was her granddaughter. Instead, she tells us the woman standing there was Ashley Sice. Lee says the 31-year-old pushed her way inside and wrapped her bra around her neck.
She choked me down, and we sit and fought probably a good 15, 20 minutes. So finally, I know, like I said, God was on my side. And I saw one of my chickens laying on the floor, so I picked it up, started bashing her in the head with it.
After she knocked her out, she called police. Investigators say Sice appeared to be on drugs and thought she was being followed when she showed up on Lisa's porch.
She was going to door hoping somebody let her in. And of course it was me.
Sice is charged with burglary, but more charges may be on the way. Lee says she will press charges. In Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Sice was scheduled to answer to the charges in court this afternoon. Well, it is another beautiful day in the Bluegrass. Sunny skies and temperatures in the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, I just had to go outside today. I was looking for that bull, as a matter of fact. Didn't find it. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. Chris, it's been one of those days. We got a bull running around, got spring weather, you know?
Yeah, well, the bull is from Wisconsin. He finally deserted and made his way to Kentucky. He wanted to celebrate this weekend. Wanted to be on the winning side of things. But gorgeous weather. Can you blame the livestock for trying to break free on a day like this? Gorgeous conditions out there. Sam and Jennifer, plenty of sunshiny skies, gusty winds into the 30 to 35 mile per hour range, kind of shaking that camera around a little bit. When you get temperatures to surge into the 70s in late March, chances are you're going to get a healthy wind with it. That's what we've been seeing out there today. 76, the warm spot into London. Always subtract about 2 degrees from that thermometer and you'll get something a little more correct. Notice how everybody else is into the low 70s on this particular map until we get into Covington at 67 degrees for the temperature there. They're actually closer to a little cold front that is dropping from north to south. Nothing on Live First Alert Defender. Don't expect to see anything out there as we go into the remainder of the evening or the overnight. Focus of the forecast, though. Thunderstorms begin to join in on the spring fun. Now, that won't happen until we get into Thursday and Friday, but by that time, guys, we're going to be tracking rounds of showers and thunderstorms into the Bluegrass State. How much of an impact will they have on your weather? Your 3-day threat track will break it all down when I come back here in about 10 minutes from now.
Thank you, Chris. A mother says she has a lot of questions about why her sister is facing so many charges, many of them from what happened to her 14-month-old son.
Candy Daly's sister Angela Spoonamore is accused of trying to give a toddler alcohol in a sippy cup. And police say she threw the child to the floor and the child was taken to the hospital after a party at a Lancaster home. WKYT's Phil Pendleton talked to the toddler's mother.
Angela Spoonamore is still in the Lincoln County Jail facing a lot of charges regarding what happened to the little nephew that she was supposed to be watching.
Candy Daly is Spoonamore's sister. She says Angela was sober and not drinking when she began watching Candy's 14-month-old son Jace at the Lancaster home Saturday night. It seemed to be fine when she called to check on the two later that night. But early Sunday morning, she got a phone call to pick up the toddler at the hospital. She says, though, her son was fine, just a busted upper lip. But her sister is in jail facing charges ranging from allegations of giving her son alcohol in his sippy cup to throwing him on the floor. Candy says she has medical records that show no evidence of alcohol in her child's system, and she doubts her sister would hurt her son. The bottom line, she does think her sister was probably at fault, but she questions if others are to blame as well.
So when the truth comes out, yes, the ones that was drinking around the other minors and whoever started it, acted on, they was all part of it, not just my sister.
And Daly tells me that she and her son now live in Rockcastle County. Her sister used to live there as well, but has been staying recently with her grandmother in Garrett County. We're going to have a lot more on this coming up at 6 o'clock, but for now, in Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Spoonermore is the only one facing charges right now, but police say the investigation is ongoing. A third person is in jail accused in a Lexington robbery. A woman reported 2 men robbed her at gunpoint at the Sportsman Motel on Winchester Road last month. Police later arrested Michael Jackson and Jonathan Cross and say they admitted to being involved. Police say the two told them Philip Claiborne was the one who robbed the woman. Claiborne is charged with robbery.
6 days and still no sign of 2 escaped inmates. State police say that Dallas Trent and his cousin John Trent jumped out of a transport van last week. They were headed back to the Three Forks Regional Jail after a court appearance in Wolfe County. The Wolfe County jailer says one of the Trents reversed the child lock on the door for them to escape through. He says that vehicle no longer has a door handle on the inside to prevent that from happening again. You'll hear from him coming up on WKYT News at 5:30. Survivors of sexual assault in the military say they are no longer waiting for their commanders or Congress to fully address the issue.
Several women with years of service to the country have joined forces to file a lawsuit against the Department of Defense. Craig Boswell has more from Washington.
Jennifer Smith says she was sexually assaulted while serving in Iraq. She says her attacker was not punished and that she was harassed after reporting it to her commander.
You have to go to the root of the problem. The root of the problem are the commanders.
Smith and 3 other military women have filed suit saying the department repeatedly fails to terminate sexual harassers from the military and instead lets those biased and hostile persons control military judicial proceedings.
We can't expect the people that are so enmeshed in that culture to police themselves.
Smith also filed a complaint about sexually hostile songs printed in unofficial Air Force songbooks.
I never really realized that they were, or what an effect they had on me until something bad happened to me. And I realized I couldn't go to the people because I needed to go to because I just viewed them as pigs.
The Pentagon says there were 7,000 fewer sexual assaults last year than in 2012, and more women and men are coming forward, but also says more must be done.
It's very disheartening, to go through something like this and to get no justice, but you just kind of keep hoping.
Hope for justice for her and others after years of military service. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
Plaintiffs also support attempts on Capitol Hill to remove commanders completely from sexual assault cases and place that authority in the hands of independent prosecutors. Alpaca farms in the Bluegrass are preparing for the Kentucky Classic Alpaca Show.
And our Deanne Stevens is out and about in Stamping Ground with more on that. Hi, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are here at an alpaca farm in Stamping Ground, Kentucky. I'm trying to make friends. They're really not that sure about me or this microphone or this camera that we have here. Probably not used to seeing us very often, but Jack seems okay with it as long as we rub his neck. Steve Ross is with us. Oh, you want to talk? Jack's still not sure about that microphone. Steve, an alpaca farm. I was just talking to you a little bit about that and how you moved from the horse industry now to raising alpacas.
Well, we'd been in the horse racing industry for a while on the West Coast. We moved to Kentucky, wanted to stay in the horse racing industry, and then we decided to get in the alpaca business.
And how is that alpaca business working for you so far?
Well, if it wasn't for the Lehman Brothers crash in 2008, it'd be a lot better. But that really affected the prices pretty badly.
I would say. So what do you do with alpacas?
We raise them for the fleece primarily, and also the ones that aren't that good for fleece can be pets, 4-H animals and stuff like that.
Well, you guys are preparing for the Kentucky Classic Alpaca Show, which great involvement for the kiddos, I understand, happening at Fasig-Tipton on April 11th. Talk a bit about that. And you just said they are great pets for kids.
Right. Usually we need to have 2 in a farm area so that they can have some companionship. But the Kentucky Classic Alpaca Show is going to be where we bring the best alpacas and they show off their fleece and conformation, but we also have events for the public. We're going to have a scavenger hunt. We have an education area. We've got a lady talking about marketing. We have a vet giving talks throughout the day. So there's lots of things for the public to do.
And I understand you're doing some dressing up of the alpacas with the kiddos?
We're going to try to have a noon event where we're going to dress the kids up and try to dress the alpacas up. Sometimes it doesn't work too good.
Well, but I'm sure it's entertainment plus either way, right?
It's a lot of entertainment.
All right. Well, you could be a part of the Kentucky Classic Alpaca Show happening at Tipton on April 11th. Come learn about the alpacas. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about in Stamping Ground. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Deanne. Oscar winner Helen Mirren teams up with Ryan Reynolds for a new movie, and fans of The Daily Show find out who will be taking over for Jon Stewart.
Suzanne Marquez has today's Eye on Entertainment.
Newcomer Trevor Noah will replace Jon Stewart as the next host of The Daily Show. The South African comedian became a contributor on the show last year.
Thanks for joining us.
Comedy Central says Noah's start date will be announced at a later date. Robin Williams' widow and his adult children have agreed to try to resolve their dispute out of court. A lawyer for Susan Williams says she would like to keep several items, including her wedding presents and the tuxedo the Oscar winner wore at their wedding. The children say Williams' trust grants them his clothing, jewelry, and personal photos. Oscar winner Helen Mirren was at the Museum of Modern Art for the New York City premiere of her latest film, Woman in Gold.
My aunt, Adela, painted by Gustav Klimt.
The movie tells the true story of an elderly Jewish woman who tries to reclaim a famous painting stolen from her family decades ago during the Holocaust.
I think it was the symbol of what had been taken away from her, in the sense of not financial, but in the sense of her memories, her family.
Woman in Gold opens nationwide on Wednesday. And Christina Aguilera will perform a surprise duet at the 50th Academy of Country Music Awards. Brooks and Dunn will also reunite on stage. The ACMs air live Sunday, April 19th here on CBS. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Hollywood.
A Colorado photographer is celebrating a milestone. He's marking the 60th year of covering the NCAA's Final Four tournament.
Impressive. Rich Clarkson says the college basketball tournament is one of his favorite events, and this year he's ready to photograph his last one. He's seen a lot of college basketball teams, so who does he think will win it all this year?
Kentucky's got it locked up this year. Not so sure.
Okay. The 82-year-old will be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame this week. He says the most difficult part about shooting the Final Four at his age is standing up. Kentucky and Wisconsin, of course, squaring off this weekend, Saturday night, in the Final Four of that NCAA tournament.
And while Big Blue Nation remains confident about the game's outcome, UK fans are losing the battle on social media. WKYT is locked in a Final Four-like war on Facebook with WMTV in Madison, Wisconsin. And right now, Badger fans are trouncing Wildcat fans with more than double the likes. We need your help, BBN. Just go to our WKYT Facebook page and help us beat Wisconsin in this Final Four-like war. 56,000 to 28,000.
I know. What's going on there? We need Chris Bailey's help over there. You know, he's got all those followers, and you do too, for that matter.
That's right. Chris Bailey, we've already liked it. We just need some more fans to help us out.
Come on, Big Blue Nation. Get with the program here. I've boycotted cheese all week, by the way. Looking outside throughout central and eastern Kentucky, dealing with some very nice weather. Low and mid-70s, partly to mostly sunny skies. Great conditions throughout the region. Frankfort 72, 75 into London, Lexington, Georgetown checking in with 73 degrees. What you can't see here, the winds that are cranking 30, 35 miles per hour at times. What you can see here, beautiful conditions on Life First Alert Defender. Not a whole lot going on, not a whole lot in the way of cloud cover, so obviously you're not going to find very much precipitation, if any, not only across Kentucky, but across the surrounding states. Though I am tracking thunderstorms into town for later this week, guys. For that opening day of Keeneland, hour-by-hour forecast. We'll walk you into that, and then we'll expand that into the upcoming Easter weekend when I come back in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. A special 3D shell, a stranger invited to a wedding, and Wile E. Coyote sneaks into a bar. It's the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this.
This is pretty amazing. A tortoise is enjoying a new lease on life thanks to a 3D printer Cleopatra arrived at a Colorado animal rescue center with a damaged shell. The damage left Cleopatra prone to infection. But the rescue center's owner had an idea to create a prosthesis to allow Cleopatra to live a normal life. So with the help of a local university, he designed a program to print the tortoise a new shell layer. Cleopatra's shell now has a removable covering that allows her to safely play or mate with other tortoises. The covering can also be removed to be cleaned.